you get up during this movie, you miss entire plot points.
This is pretty intricate.
Yeah, this is one of the most intricate movies I've ever seen.
The movie you're making me watch today is Paths of Glory, 1904, directed by Stanley Kubrick. All right, it's 1957. Schwartz.
1492.
It's been 49 years. Schwartz, are you frozen or are you just good at sitting still?
I'm a little bit of both.
What's your word for Paths of Glory?
My word is maddening. Maddening.
Is it a word?
Yes, it is.
It's a word. It's
I
just a weird
Googled it.
word. Weird word. Well, you should have thought of a better word. Anthony, what's your word?
What?
I asked.
Wait, no, what's your word?
Oh, yeah, my word. Well, I guess it's my turn. Grim. I went with grim.
Grim. My word is probably truer than we want to know or imagine.
Is that one word?
It's like a phrase.
Hyphen. I Googled it.
I accept it, though, because it's true.
My word is based on a true story.
That's a phrase as well.
Fuck. Paths of Glory. Watch it. Then listen to this. Is that it?
We're done?
Do you want? Yeah. What? That was it. Watch it or don't.
Watch it. Bye.
Do you want to go through a little synopsis of what this movie's about, Schwartz, and why it's relevant and why you wanted us to watch it?
Yeah. So this movie is about two generals that decide going ahead and pulling off an attack that they know is not going to succeed is a good idea for both of them. One of them to get a promotion and one of them for just being the guy he is and keeping up his reputation. And they decide to put a lot of people's lives at risk doing it, even, like I said, knowing that it was never going to succeed. The movie that happens, and then you see the aftermath of the soldiers that had to actually attack and the few that survived and the just the aftermath of it all. The generals get pissed and decide to put them all on trial for court-martial them for cowardice, and you just see the aftermath of it. That's what the movie's about.
Word.
Okay.
Yeah. And why to watch this movie is because this is the beginning of one of the best filmmakers ever career. This is the first movie where people said, damn, that guy's a great filmmaker. Great performances, actually minimalist performances, but all of them were really, really good. I think that the cinematography is some of the best I've ever seen in any movie. The difference, so the grandeur of it, the grandeur of all the chateau scenes with the
best
French
at the time,
generals.
like best for its time, or best ever in movies? I'm
saying some of the best ever I've ever seen in movies. All his movies have that, though. Every single Kubrick movie has points of that. The grandeur of the chateau scenes with the generals living the high life with the wide lenses and the close-ups, and then when you go into the soldiers areas, it's all close up, super close, kind of long lensy, not really much moving around until the generals are walking through the what do you call that? The ditch that they're in.
Trenches.
Yeah. So the trenches, like those shots, like this was one of the first times the Steadicam was ever used in a war movie too. Like that dolly shot. I don't think it was Steadicam, but
it seemed like Steadicam in the trenches.
This was pretty cool back then. I don't think Steadicam was created back then though. I think Steadicam came a couple years, like 20 years later. Kubrick was one of the first people to use Steadicam, and it was The Shining.
It was like a handheld or some sort of.
It was definitely. It wasn't on track.
I think it was on a track.
It couldn't have been on track. They walked too far. You would have seen the track.
I mean,
that's
track.
True.
Track goes pretty far. Did you? I don't remember.
I'm saying you would have seen the track.
Yeah, maybe it was something.
Something to look at. It's hard to say.
Yeah, but that was all the scene when they charged the anthill, the fucking long lens close-up shots.
That was cool.
Camera just moving left. That was one of the sickest things ever. Like that was amazing. Loved that. I just love how
like a chase scene, but in war.
Yeah, I love how you're just seeing the hierarchy of things that in war, like how people just are really out for themselves, and you're seeing what people will do and sacrifice other things that don't matter to them, like lives. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing. Like Kirk Douglas's character, Colonel Dax, like I loved his character. I mean, in the first scene when they decide they're gonna kill him, he tells them he'll die for everybody. He was like, just to shoot me. Like, you don't have to shoot anybody else. I was the leader of this, so just kill me. Like, that was dope. I loved that. I liked how, well, I liked and hated how everything that he wanted to say, he couldn't, because if he did, he'd be in trouble. But everything he said was so right. You know what I mean? Like, and how they just genuinely and blatantly didn't care. All the higher ups did not care. There was no care in the world about killing their own men. Like the scene when that general orders them to fire on the men when they didn't leave the bunker. That's fucking insane. Like, I'm sure that's happened so many times, like you're saying, and we just never heard of it because you don't talk about shit like that. Like, that's just not something that's talked about. This movie is like this movie is the most anti-war movie I think I've ever seen. There's no movie is more anti-war than this, and the fact that it shows the blatant this not caring for anything but what that one person wants. You know what I mean? Like the generals, I don't give a fuck, you know? And the people
in their heads, they did the numbers, and the numbers said that even though they were going to lose over half their men, they were still going to have enough to hold anthill, and that's why they sent him in. They were they just see people as numbers. They just see people as pawns on a board game.
What's crazy too is that like the priest, the way he acted too when he came in, it was just so like, listen, just accept this. Everyone dies. Like, you guys just don't be cowards. I was like, how do you expect anyone just to be okay with something like that? Like,
well, what do you want? The priest was there to make him feel better. I was thinking the same thing. It's like, but what is he gonna do? What is he gonna protest? He's there to try to make them feel better, save their souls at the end. And
that was the worst.
Like when people are sick, when people are sick and dying. Yeah, people.
He knows that's why my word, he can't do anything about it. All he can do is.
That's why my word is maddening, because every time someone tried to make them feel better or make the situation seem okay, it just made me more angry. Like, it was insane. It was insane how that went down. Yeah. But I love this movie, and like I like that I saw this movie only like a year ago, and I like that this is the first movie of someone who's made amazing movies, but this movie is just as good as any other movie he ever made, and that's not.
Is this his first movie?
This is his first movie that people consider his first movie.
It's like his third feature, I think.
Yeah, he made a movie called Killer's Kiss, and another movie about a bank robbery, but they weren't like Kubrick movies. They were just, it was his like film school. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't even close to as good. This was his first movie where people were like, damn, this is amazing. Like Kirk Douglas even said, like, I read a quote. He was like, I made this movie knowing that 50, 60 years from now, this movie was still going to be a great movie. And that's like, you don't get to say that about movies too much.
Is it a great movie still?
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think it's a great movie. What do you think, Jake? Or what do you think, Anthony?
Go ahead, Jake.
All right. I think, Jake, I mean, it was definitely good. It was, the story was the best part about it. The story held the movie throughout. I mean, it was shot well too, but of course it was also in the 50s and it was black and white and it was slow moving. But for this kind of movie, it was dialogue driven. I think the first half was more the war scene, so it was a little quicker paced on the earlier side of the film.
There was not a whole lot of war going on in the movie.
No, not really. It was more. It was almost like you were looking on the outside of war, kind of looking in, like the camera wasn't in the war, but it was right next to it.
It's like it's the general's point of view. They're watching it go down.
That's a good way to, that's a good point. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Kubrick obviously hates war. Obviously, this is there's two other.
He's made one of the greatest war movies ever.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think you're either saying Dr. Strangelove or Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, I was thinking Full Metal Jacket, but yeah, Dr. Strangelove.
I agree. Yeah,
one of my favorite movies of all time.
And they're both wildly anti-war, which I want to appreciate that because I'm from the same thought.
Yeah, who likes war?
I don't like war. It's stupid, and like they really encompass this well in this film with the characters and how the soldiers are treated, how the generals look at them, like you were saying earlier, they were just numbers. Like the men who got executed at the end of this movie, like weren't even were like they were just chosen at random. They were just they were just three dudes in the masses, like just to represent a group. They weren't like, if you're gonna kill everyone, if you're gonna kill someone, kill everyone or don't kill at all. Like it was, I'd say don't kill at all. Like it was fucked up. I was surprised that that was even a thing. I didn't know that was how they dealt with cowards, I guess, or maybe you can call them traitors or something. I could see that at the end. It's just almost like you know, they're in contempt of the war in a way. So maybe it just seems extreme, obviously.
Let me ask you this: you guys know that they were French in this movie. That's the one thing people were like because it was a French war. Do you think Americans did the same? Like Americans don't kill people for cowardice, do they?
Yeah, I think they do. I think especially in World War One, that I'm sure. I think that was probably
and I had to consider that. Yeah,
probably common. Yeah,
World War One for sure.
Yeah, not a single French person in this movie.
I know that took me out. It kept distracting me. That I'm like,
they couldn't have made this movie like that though. It wouldn't have worked. With the budget and all that. This was a very low budget movie.
What was the budget?
I think it was like $900,000 and $400,000 of it went to Kirk Douglas.
So they couldn't have made French-speaking actors, and that could have made the movie better because not a lot of I
don't know that they cited that as the reason. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to go to France and shoot it. I don't know.
Could be it, because I did think about that, but I almost I guess I just let it go after a while. But it is annoying to me when like people are speaking the wrong language, and it's like English and American people portraying.
It never
French.
really.
It was a little weird, but it never really mattered.
Like when he was like, "If they're not gonna die by German bullets, he'll die by French ones." I was like, "Oh yeah, they're French."
Yeah.
Other than that, it's whatever. I just assumed they were American.
Because I was like, are they fighting the French? Oh yeah, they are the French.
But yeah, I think cowardice, and I think that was punishable by death, and it might still be. It's certainly court-martial.
Yeah.
You certainly can be. I mean, you sign up to be in the army. You're gonna be expected to do your thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that some of the things they said too. Like I know during the court hearing, like. Dax, the what's his name? Michael Douglas? No, that's not Michael.
Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas's character. He said something like, "There's rarely been moments where I'm ashamed to be a human being, and this happens to be one of them." Some along those lines. And then the one about like the patriotism, like patriotism is the last refuge of a scoundrel. I liked all those lines because it's just like the shit you would do to be a patriot is sometimes, shameful.
So I also was
considered shameful by
some.
By some, yeah. I mean, and
but in the grand
by
in the grand scheme of things, like murder's wrong. They're just they're punishing people by murder for not murdering people, and like that's just what's like.
War is a different story, right? War is different.
In my opinion, no, but yeah, it is. It is a different story, unfortunately. Yeah. But humans are humans, and I think that, like I was saying, this movie is like they put a good picture on how the military just dehumanizes people, and it's a shame.
Full Metal Jacket does a really good job of that.
Oh, Full Metal Jacket 100% does a good thing with that too. I mean, Dr. Strangelove is the other war film that he does, but that's more of a satire. And it's funny because in the beginning of this film, I was wondering if this was a satire because some of the shit they were saying was like so ridiculous. Like they're like walking around like ready to kill some Germans. Like almost like this is kind of almost like humorous.
It was a little Strangelovey at first.
Yeah, but then it lost that like goofy vibe as it got more serious as it went. Strangelove kept it.
As soon as that guy
Peter Sellers in every scene made it kind of goofy. So
as soon as he killed his own dude with the grenade and then ran off, it was like, what the fuck is this about?
Yeah, like damn.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the best scenes because you're like you said at that point you're like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck? Where is this going?
And then all that dude... into the very end when he apologizes to him. Jesus Christ, fuck that guy.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. That's why this movie was maddening. Everything that happened, just you were like, fuck that, like. Fuck that! Like it was so
like Train to Busan.
Well, one of my words I've written down in my notes is like one of my words was maybe bullshit because of like this scenario, like the shit that went down in this movie was bullshit. But then me saying this movie was bullshit makes the movie sound bad, which I don't think it was bad.
Yeah, it's bullshit situations that seem too realistic. Realistic should have been my word. Hold on, everybody be quiet. Realistic. I'm going to insert that.
Perfect. Instead of your random phrases.
Yeah, instead of
You're the one who,
my word is realistic.
Yeah, you're the one who edits, so I'm sure you'll remember to do all this.
Yeah, right.
You know what was really good about this movie too was the sound design. The sound design was pretty great. Every time they were out in the war areas or even in the areas where there could be some sounds, there was always a blast or a tank or people yelling at all times. There was always something, and there wasn't much of a soundtrack to it unless they were in the mansions too. It was pretty much all just natural sounds when they were outside in the trenches and everything, which was dope.
That first scene where the three guys went out and the first guy went up and then they shot up those flares and they just kind of slowly parachuted down. Really made me want to watch 1917. This is probably this is the second best World War II movie that I've ever seen, or World War I movie that I've ever seen.
But it's funny that you can tell that they're the same war. They did a really good job with that. I was thinking that while I was watching this one. I'm like, oh, it's definitely the same war as 1917. It's the same trenches. It's the same like fucked up battlefield that they had to go through.
Sam Mendes says that this movie played a big role in him making 1917, especially like the tracking.
I totally saw that.
He said that he saw this movie when he was like a kid and was like, "Damn, that's pretty amazing."
That when they were storming Anthill, that long lens side shot. I mean,
that was ridiculous, and I loved that shot because he had like close-ups of people like this, and the camera was still slowly moving, and the debris was everywhere. Like, that was, imagine shooting that. That must have been so fun. It was just like, I guarantee he was just like on the camera, just like, this is awesome.
Like even the battles and like the plot points of the two movies were similar, because like the whole point of 1917 was them trying to stop a suicide mission because they realized like, oh, you're outnumbered, you're fucked. And then they even got to that guy at the end that was like, I don't want to know, we're already here, we're gonna fucking do this shit. And then but that was the same. It's like that. It could have been the same battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, it was British soldiers in 1917, but it was different. It was a different
British soldiers, but
army.
They were supposed to be from Zimbabwe.
Oh, in 1917?
Yeah, they were Zimbabwe. So I'm kidding.
I was like, what?
I'm like,
it was a bunch of Americans
I thought it's about
French. I was saying,
because I'm like, it's about Sam Mendes'
British people making Zimbabwe. Never mind.
Yeah,
that was a really stupid joke.
Joke went over my head. It's funny nice. now that you explained it. Now it's
your face green.
Ooh.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought it was all right. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a good movie about fucked up situations in war, about fucked up leaders, about just bad decision making all around. And it seems all too common and seems too realistic for comfort.
I think that's the point of it, honestly. I think that's what he wanted you to feel, was that exact thing that, like Jake was saying, war is just terrible all around for the decisions that people have to make and the bad decisions that they do make. But
though I feel like, do you feel like they are as nefarious? Do you feel like, I don't know. Are people out there just are people making those kinds of decisions? Well, people are making political decisions every day. And if that's not to get a promotion, then what is? That's the whole reason you're making a decision.
Well, look at the beginning, the opening scene. The general was against it the whole time until he told him he was gonna get a promotion, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, no, we can take this." And then they starts telling people that they're gonna do this. And that's why he started walking through the trenches, fucking pepping people up. Yeah. And then he sees the one guy. He looks through the binoculars.
He looks through the binoculars. He's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen way worse places."
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's when it was still like Doctor Strangelove to me, because it was just like people clearly making like wrong decisions, like, but convincing themselves that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Have you ever seen 13 Hours? I think it's called
the Michael Bay film. Yeah.
That's
great movie. Great movie.
There's a lot of higher ups making bad decisions that got people killed in that movie.
That's the whole Hillary Clinton controversy, isn't it?
Yeah. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Yeah, awesome movie. John Krasinski actually fucking kills it in that movie.
What's it called?
13 Hours.
13 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. One of Michael Bay's best films for sure.
Like Chris Pine or something.
Okay.
John Krasinski and who's the other guy? I forget. John Krasinski is the main guy.
Oh yeah.
I like Krasinski.
He's great, man.
And
he's
does he ever deadpan the camera? Is it awesome?
No, there's no office antics.
All right.
That'd be awesome though.
Like he just loads his gun and just goes like this.
Quick high roll. Like this seems dumb.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about this before we rank them?
Oh yeah, I was gonna actually.
I wanted a lot to say about this one.
Kubrick. I was actually gonna see if have you seen all the Kubrick movies, Jake?
I haven't.
I want to know where you rank this movie in the just Kubrick movies because there's only 14. There's only 14 of them. Yeah.
I'm glad we watched this one because this was one of the few I have not seen. I think I haven't seen his older shit. I think anything like maybe before Space Odyssey I never saw. Let me look at the list.
So that was Lolita.
I'm sorry. Before anything, probably before like Doctor Strangelove, I never saw.
So you missed this movie and Spartacus.
Yeah, and I haven't seen Lolita either. So there's some of these movies are a lot.
Lolita's good. So then so you've seen his real big ones then, like Clockwork Orange, 2001, Full Metal Jacket, Shining.
Yeah. I still need to. I need to get another viewing of 2001. I feel like every time I've seen it, I've always seen it in like parts, and I've never watched it from beginning to end.
Well, it is on HBO. You were right.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
Because this did make me appreciate Kubrick more. I feel like I haven't watched. Well, no, I watched Strangelove maybe a couple months ago. But other than that,
this movie.
I know. I was kind of hesitant.
I knew you would like this movie,
old.
dude.
Yeah,
you can't not like this movie. This movie's a great movie.
It is. I never saw Barry Lyndon.
Ooh, that's a rough one, but you should watch it just for the cinematography alone. It looks like a Renaissance painting, like throughout.
Yeah, like some of these just have like really intimidating run times, like Spartacus and Barry Lyndon. And how long is Lolita? Yeah, Lolita's 2.5. That's Lolita's 2.5. That's not bad. Yeah, but like some of these are like 3 hours plus, and I don't know.
I feel like Kubrick movies though, they're like Paul Thomas Anderson movies. Once you're in, you're hooked.
Yeah,
you're just in.
Yeah, like Magnolia, I could watch that shit over and over. And I've seen.
If you could watch Magnolia, you could watch.
I love Magnolia.
Yeah, and that's a 3.5 hour movie.
I know, it just unravels beautifully in front of you, like a flower, like a.
I mean, Boogie Nights is like 3 hours too.
The street I live on is Magnolia.
Yeah. Nice. I live near Magnolia.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Have you seen Magnolia, Anthony? Have you seen it, Magnolia?
No, I've never seen Spartacus, Lolita, or Barry Lyndon.
What about Magnolia?
Apparently, I've never watched Eyes Wide Shut either.
Yeah, dude, you should watch it.
I'll watch it. Stop screaming at me.
You gotta. I love how you're like, it's about people getting naked and putting masks on. I was like, what the fuck?
It kind of is, though.
It is.
It's not. It's not. I explained to you what the story was yesterday.
You literally went scene to scene with us. It was great.
I told you the important parts.
I've seen it, and I almost forgot
this episode.
What it was about.
On this episode, we discuss Paths of Glory and watch Eyes Wide Shut from beginning to end, quietly.
Ooh, that's a long one.
Ooh, are we gonna do a watch along right now?
Yes, I'm watching.
Sweet. I think if we're gonna do that, the movies we should do that with is the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh, I don't want to do watch alongs.
No,
why?
All right.
Nah. If we're watching a movie, we gotta watch a movie. If it's not like, unless it's like a rewatching a movie, then that's a different story. But
I mean, I've seen Lord of the Rings trilogy all the way through, probably like 4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen Lord of the Rings trilogy.
So that would be the perfect one.
Maybe sounds like a long ass episode.
Argument alone, Jake.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It sounds
arguing
like
myself into that.
We need to do that.
I get myself right into a hole.
Are we? So that's like 12 hours if we watch the extended editions.
I'm gonna need some coffee if we're gonna do it.
They're all on HBO though.
Yeah, we'll talk about it at some point.
We're talking about it right now. What are you against this whole situation or what?
All right, let's rank it then. Where do you rank it in your list?
Ranky.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. There's not a whole lot to be said about this movie.
This was a harder one to rank because it wasn't very entertaining, but it was a very good movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, one scene I forgot to talk about is when they're walking to the firing line and the soldier just starts crying the whole time, and the camera's literally just like on him like the whole walk.
Oh yeah.
Christ.
That was pretty intense.
Maddening.
Yeah. That was maybe one of my favorite scenes. They actually represented that really well. Like I thought like the way each of the soldiers sort of represented like a different point of view a little bit.
Yeah.
Like one of them was broken, one of them didn't care, and one of them was just so distraught. And
just that like, one dude. The best scene of the movie because I get, like you said, the movie wasn't entertaining, but it was a good movie. It was good storytelling. It was good camera work. It had all the qualities for a good movie. Was it the most entertaining movie of all time? No. It was a look into the reality of war and a reality of the higher up, some, hopefully not all, of the higher echelon of decision making of warriors who are not looking at them like people are looking at them like pawns on a chessboard or on a risk board. And that was interesting. The most fucked up part of the whole thing was when he made that dude be in charge of the shooting line. I think that was probably our only satisfaction in the movie. That was our only and it wasn't even satisfying. It was satisfying to know that he had to be confronted with what he had done and be in charge of the consequence. But in no way was his apology satisfying. In no way was him carrying out the act satisfying. And in no way was the end satisfying.
No. Yeah, that's a good point. There's nothing was really satisfying about this movie, but
no.
It was.
But it was a good movie.
Yeah, so, still damn good story.
But it's not as bad as like Beasts of No Nation. It's not like I'll never watch this movie again.
Right. Like I wouldn't not recommend this movie. Like
I wouldn't not recommend this movie, but I would not.
I don't. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not big on war movies in general, but I think the fact that this is more of an anti-war movie helps. Helps that.
I guess it is an anti-war movie, but an anti-war movie is still a war movie.
It's still a war movie. You're absolutely right.
But most of the movie was not in the war. Most of the movie was them discussing what the fuck they're gonna do with these people.
Yeah. It was partly a courtroom movie as well.
It was.
Which he's done before. I mean, he did it with Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket's like 2 movies. The first half's like a comedy. The second half's a fucking war movie.
Well, it's boot camp then war. So
yeah, but that movie was fucking
2 completely
hilarious.
Different stories because the second half is a war movie.
Yeah,
the first half.
I want to call the first half hilarious. They're fucking torturing an individual, like an individual goes crazy.
No, I get that. But the use of humor in it, I think is what makes you ease into it.
Oh, there's a dark.
I laugh at that movie. I'm like, humor. Jesus Christ.
There's certainly a tone shift. Like the second half is not as, I guess, humorous as the first half. Like I think it's obviously like the dark humor, of course, but it's still you're right. It's still some humor to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Tarantino. Joker. He takes those fucked up situations and adds all the humor. So you're like, oh, all right, fuck it. I guess it's cool.
The best 2-tone movie has got to be Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, by far.
Oh, yeah.
In the tone shift, in the plot shift, like everything just shifts at a certain point, and it turns into a fucking vampire movie. That's the best shift. That to me is one of the most true collaborations of all time. And I say that because it's 100% a Tarantino script and 100% a Rodriguez movie.
Like that is such a great collaboration. Like it's, you know what I mean? Because Tarantino wrote the script and Rodriguez directed it, but both of their styles is 100% in the movie. And that's why I think that's the best collab of all time.
It's a good collab.
True. And George Savini, or whatever his name is.
Todd Savini.
Are you talking about
Tom Savini.
Greg Tom
the Bad
Savini.
Lieutenant?
Sex Machine.
Sex Machine.
The dick gun.
Yes. Also, one of the great makeup artists, right?
Yep. He started out as a makeup artist.
Where do we rank this? Where do we rank the dick gun? Wait, so where do we? Hold on. Where Schwartz? Where do you rank this movie in Kubrick movies?
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that.
I think Kubrick's best film, as far as movies go, and just how it is probably 2001, just because it's like just a cult, it's like a phenomenon, and like what he pulled off, like he did that. I mean, that was like 10 years before Star Wars, so all that shit was like not even thought of until even 10 years later that George Lucas was doing. But my favorite Kubrick movie is Clockwork Orange.
Star Wars to 2001: A Space Odyssey. One's like pure science fiction pirate movie, and one's like trying to predict more future predicting.
I'm only comparing it by the technology and filmmaking aspect of how it revolutionized things. That's what I mean. That's what I meant. Like the story, yeah, it's a total different thing. Science fiction versus science, really. You know what I mean? So like I feel like science fiction is, well, anyway, I agree with you. I don't compare it in that way. I compare it in just the technology and the filmmaking aspect of it revolutionized things. But Clockwork Orange is my favorite Kubrick movie, but I'd say I'd rank this top 5 for sure. I'd say Clockwork Orange, Shining, 2001, and then probably Doctor Strangelove. So this is number 6, I'd say. I'd put this after those. I think it's better than Eyes Wide Shut, only because Eyes Wide Shut's a much simpler movie. I do like Eyes Wide Shut because it deals with like the occult and like all shit like that. But
Eyes Wide Shut's a simpler movie than this?
Yeah. This movie had a lot of moving parts. This movie had a lot of things going on. It had the hierarchy of military. It had the people having to realize they were going to die. It had the people fucking up. There was a lot to this movie. Eyes Wide Shut's just about a dude going through a fucking night in his life.
Yeah, I think this was better than Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're both different, very different movies, but
the thing about Kubrick movies
better.
It's like Scorsese.
I wasn't thinking this movie was overly complicated by any means.
I think this had greater depth. It just had more meaning to it than Eyes Wide Shut was just. You're right. Eyes Wide Shut was pretty much just a story of a guy with a fucked up night, and this was about humanity in a way,
Yep.
Oh, the humanity.
Yep.
You know what movie that's from?
No.
It's called The Hindenburg. Archival footage.
Great flick.
My favorite, since nobody asked, is Doctor Strangelove.
We watched The Hindenburg archival footage.
Doctor Strangelove has got to be my favorite.
Yeah, that's great.
Kubrick movie. But I don't know. I think I would have to rank this low on the ones I've seen, because I think I've only seen the best of the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same. It's hard to. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say.
Barry Lyndon. Barry Lyndon can be much below this, in my opinion.
I feel like I think I liked this a little more than Strangelove in a way of like depth and story. Strangelove was a little more entertaining, but I think if I had to pick between the two, I would maybe put this slightly above Strangelove.
Entertaining? It was more entertaining. But I think Strangelove had just as much depth. I think it had just as much depth. It just played with the comedic aspect more. But
I guess
as much crazy. It was similar in that people making bad decisions during war.
Yeah, maybe I just didn't appreciate the use of satire wasn't delivered as well as I would have liked. I don't know. It's hard to say. This is maybe just not the way it was
satire
presented. It
king
wasn't
over
my
here.
favorite thing.
Let me get the
I don't know.
mayor of
It's hard to say.
satire. Fucking mayor of
Please.
satire.
Yo, it's Mayor Satire.
Shut up, Ray Ray.
Well, I found my spot on our list. I found my list at least.
I figured out mine too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go number 20.
20. Word.
Yeah.
20.
Right in front of the Frighteners. Right below Basic Instinct.
Okay.
Below the Basic Instinct. I see that. I heard that. So that's 20 out of 49. We're at 49 films, guys. That's the 49th film.
9. You know what that means?
That means the next one's number 50.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's what I was gonna say, dude. Our
Boy,
minds,
is that how
our
the math
minds,
goes?
our
That's
minds are right
math,
here.
dude.
We're not. We're fucking.
We got it.
Great
Yeah.
minds think alike. You know.
Right.
Schwartz
Yeah.
wouldn't have
After
come up
doing-
with that.
No, dude. After doing 49 movies together, we know what's up.
Hell yeah! You don't know what kind of movies I like.
Anyway, I'm going number 22 on my list. 22, which is right above Police Story. Because while entertaining Police Story was, that didn't have as much depth.
What do you?
And it's right below it's right below Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth is great. And slightly better than Paths of Glory. So yeah, number 22 out of 49. Boom.
Oh, we got 20. We got 22. I think I'm in the 20s as well, but I'm lower for sure. I'm gonna go right above. Oof, this is a hard one. In the surrounding movies,
It is. This one was difficult to do.
Damn, dude, I can't believe you have Blood Simple so low on your list, Anthony. That's such a great movie.
Yeah,
Anthony's list is all over the place for me.
It's top
Blue
half.
Velvet too. You got Blue Velvet real low. That's real low.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, your list is kind of strange. Now that I'm looking at it, it's like it's pretty bad. It's pretty crazy.
All right.
I like it.
Where
I
you
didn't
going?
say it's bad. Don't
No, it's not bad.
let him finish. No, it's
well,
interesting.
It's making me laugh right now because I'm deciding whether this should go below MacGruber, above Blue Velvet.
That was my guess. I was eyeing that spot. I was like, I'm going to put it right there.
I'm thinking it. Why is MacGruber right there?
I know some of these movies I randomly come across. I'm like, that's a weird spot for it, but
I think
whatever.
I might need to take a day with my list. I think my
Take a
top
day.
10 are solid. In my opinion, I love it. In fact, 11, because Harold and Maude's a great movie. But
Right.
below that, it kind of looks like I'm just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, the fact that you have Lake Placid above Blood Simple and Blue Velvet is a travesty.
That might have been just in spite of you guys.
That's fair.
And that's what I'm saying. I was drunk that day.
I've spiked. Yeah, I've spiked ranked before.
See, I think every part of your list is good, but the three that I think are crazy are Blue Velvet, Basic Instinct, and Blood Simple. Those should be at least top 15,
Okay, fair enough.
in my
fair
opinion.
enough.
Those movies should be way higher.
So I'm gonna put this one, just out of respect, right above MacGruber. I'm gonna put it at 28.
Yo, Stanley Kubrick could slap you if you heard you say that.
What are you talking about? It's above MacGruber. I'm putting MacGruber is not as good as this movie.
The fact
Paths
that
of Glory is
MacGruber's
above
even in
MacGruber.
the same area he would slap you.
We
Hey,
can all agree.
MacGruber's
Paths of
on the
Glory.
list. We just have to be okay with that. MacGruber's on our list.
Actually, I think Stanley Kubrick would appreciate MacGruber for what it is. He would realize how
Probably.
much effort it took to make such a dumb movie, and he'd be like, you know what, it's a good movie. It's 'cause
how
it's
much
so
effort
bad.
did it take to make that movie?
Kubrick
Dude, you gotta
appreciates
act like-
satire.
You gotta act like that all day for 30 days. That's gotta be tough.
You got to act in any movie for
That's
however long.
that's basically who Will Forte is.
You think Will Forte is MacGruber?
Very similar people.
If you ask Davidson, he would say Will Forte is the guy on who's the president that he loves coming in on Conan. Ted Cruz or Ted Johnson, Ted Jones.
I don't even remember.
Ted Jones. I know it. I get my shit from a Ted Jones.
Ted Turner.
Ted Turner comes in on a bison.
Ted Turner's a president?
No, he's not.
No, president of a
Don't listen to
network.
this shit I'm saying, dude. Yeah, president of a network. Exactly. Thank you, Jake.
You're welcome.
I don't think he's president of anything. I think he owns Fox.
He owns TNT and any
Fox owns all
other TV conglomerate with a T in it.
Do you know who owns Fox
Either way.
now? Disney.
TCM.
Yeah, no, they've owned it for a while. Either way,
TBS.
Will Forte is actually MacGruber acting as a regular person, and every role that Will Forte has is just MacGruber acting. MacGruber's a great actor.
You're right. I'm putting this movie right under MacGruber.
All right.
I'm kidding. 28.
So we can all
28's my
agree
decision.
at least this movie, Path to Glory, is better than MacGruber. Do you think Davidson would agree?
No, I don't think you would.
MacGruber's always going to be Davidson's number one.
All right.
I asked the Big Cat to come on to the podcast and do a movie with us, but he's like, I don't know what I would do. And I was like, well, fucking figure it out, bro.
Yeah.
What is he? He's probably just too busy, you know?
Dude, that dude will call me up and he's like, yeah, I'm just laying on my Cali King eating fucking ramen, bro. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm chilling, dude.
Big Cat. Shout out to the Big Cat.
You should lay on your Cali King and listen to Making Me Watch Movies. Meow. Thanks for listening to episode 47. We're creeping up on episode 50, and we may have a treat for you, a really, really long, drawn-out treat. Next week's movie, however, is not long and drawn-out. It is Seven Samurai, 1954, directed by Akira Kurosawa. Watch that on HBO Go. Listen to us wherever you get podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at MMwM_podcasts. Leave some fucked up comments and make us laugh. Shout out to all you listeners out there. I know there's plenty. Have a great week.